Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. I am here with Maxine Bryce, who is an anxiety breakthrough specialist. And you're here watching us on the Happiness Hub on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Joyce Bergsma, and I'm a nutritional therapist and a functional medicine practitioner. And at the Happiness Hub, I'm interviewing quite a few specialists in the field of anxiety. And Maxine Bryce has been working with a lot of people with anxiety. And you're here for your multiple brains and how to use them. So I will be asking Maxine to explain a lot of that. And just to let you know that, so she is the anxiety breakthrough specialist, but she has a whole host of skills under her belt. And that includes neuro-linguistic psychology. She's a hypnotherapist. She does mindfulness-based NLP and a lot of other things. She's a coach and a huge host of things. So we'll let you know how you can get a hold of Maxine and find out more about her later. But, you know, she started her first career in dance and international show production, and she has been helping people with stress and anxiety, low self-esteem, fear of failure, lack of confidence, all the things that many of us suffer from. She's got 20 years of experience. And so please join me as I welcome Maxine. Maxine, thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you for the amazing introduction. Here with you, sharing this space.
Yes, great. Oh, tell me, Maxine, I would love to know, what is it that fires you up about your work?
Well, I can't help falling in love with each and every client. And although I didn't start out thinking I was going to work with people who are exactly like me, had issues of performance anxiety, fear, panic, overwhelm, and having had those full-on experiences myself for years and being able to release those and let go of those, I find that I attract those kind of clients. And so that's what really gets me excited, because I know that if I've done it for myself, I've been able to overcome those issues. Yes, I'm not perfect. I still have those times when I'm overwhelmed or a little bit anxious, but I have the tools now that I can release that and dial it down and get back on track. So really helping, I love helping women break through stress, anxiety, overwhelm, as I've mentioned, so that they can actually step into being confident, being self-insured and being clear, and so that they can feel alive and have vitality.
And you really help people get unstuck in this area, right?
That seems to be, that's have evolved, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mentioned breakthrough, because quite often people, when they find me eventually, because I don't shout, here I am, I don't toot. I have been quite shy in the past. When people do find me, they usually have tried several other options and have gone around in circles. And I guess with the experience I have and based on my own life, I've been able to get to the core of it quite quickly and help people move forward.
Well, I'm sure people can really relate to you, with you having gone through the same thing, and you have such a calm way of speaking that I can imagine they're very attracted to to working with you.
Thank you.
And so tell me, we had talked previously, and I've already interviewed you for the Facebook group, Squash Your Anxiety Through Nutrition. And you were mentioning at one time about the 3 brains.
That's right.
That's a big part of your work. Can you tell us more about that?
I integrate this work with my other work, and I found it fascinating that it's something, well, as we go through this, you'll be, I think, nodding, because yes, it seems like second nature, and it is. But actually science now is backing this up. Neuroscience says that we have 3 brains, and that means not just the neurons, but also the ganglia and all the other components. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to reel them off, but they're in the manual somewhere. That every single component that is in this brain, I'm pointing to this brain,
Yeah.
is also in 2 other brains as well that have been identified. So, and they are the heart brain and the gut brain. They're much smaller, but they all have their unique qualities, job descriptions, if you like, their criteria, and their own way of communicating. So let's give an example. If you've ever had your heart truly set on something wonderful, but couldn't get your head around it and talked yourself out of it and given up on your dream, that's one example. Or if you've ever yearned to do something outside of your comfort zone, but felt sick at the thought of it because your gut was in turmoil. Or if you've ever wrestled with achieving something, your wildest dreams, goals and plans, and procrastinated, then that's your wise and intelligent multiple brains letting you know that they might be out of alignment. So we know that we have neuroscience has actually come up to date, because they're always a bit behind, don't they? They have to prove it with all their scientific research. But they have shown that the neural networks show intelligence and wisdom in their own unique way. So this has been taught in one way or another in cultures throughout the land, thousands of years, from the deep insights from esoteric and spiritual traditions, thousands of years about these 3 powerful intelligences. So sometimes I'll interchange, I'll call it them intelligences, and sometimes brains, because we know intuitively that they are intelligences. So I'm a master coach in the field of MBIT, which stands for Multiple Brain Integration Techniques. So MBIT is a set of concepts, principles and techniques for aligning and integrating the wisdom and intelligence of your multiple brains. So your multiple brains can also communicate with each other on a regular basis, and you can be aligned or not aligned. Okay. So paying attention to your 3 brains will allow you to recognize when you're in alignment or not.
Can I just step back just for some clarity? Yeah. Because when you were talking about the heart brain, I was thinking that this relates to your intuition, or is it something else? Because then when you're talking about the integration and the alignment, that seems like the intuition is the 3 together when they're aligned.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So, okay. So then the heart brain is something kind of separate.
Yes. In a moment, I'm going to go through the criteria, the components, and why it is so special.
Okay.
But I totally agree. When we're all 3 in alignment, it allows us to be more wise, more intuitive.
Okay.
Yeah. And when we're out of alignment, it's less so.
I can understand that.
Yeah. So, you know that feeling when you feel really inspired to do something, but you've got gets in the way.
Yeah. Into knots.
The knots, and it literally stops you in your tracks. That's when we're out of alignment. Or if your heart says one thing and your head says another. Or perhaps you've ever made a decision in your life and stuck to it, but you just felt it wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an indication, a very clear indication of when your brains are not in alignment. So I've mentioned before, but it's only when the three brains are in alignment and they are aligned together and communicating in the way that they need to, then that's when you'll move forward in a way that you truly want without struggle. So
it'll feel easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so each of the three brains has an essentially different intelligence. They use different languages, have different goals, and operate under different criteria. So, in other words, they have different ways of dealing with the world, and communicating and addressing their own concerns and expertise. So if we start with the head brain, and it's scientifically known as the cephalic brain, its highest expression is creativity. So most of the prime functions are obvious with the head brain.
Mm-hmm.
It involves mental, cognitive processes and logical thinking functions, and include the process of reasoning, perception, and how we make meaning, how we understand the world. So thought process will also include mental imagery and language expression. But the main job of the head brain is to intellectually make sense of the world and to provide executive control. So this is pretty much what we know about the head brain. There were no really real surprises there.
Yeah.
With the heart brain, which is also known as the cardiac brain, the highest expression of the heart brain is compassion. The heart is the seat of love and desires, goals, dreams, and values. So when you're connected to something, you feel it, don't you? You value it in your heart.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So when you hear someone that's saying someone wears their heart on their sleeve, you know intuitively it doesn't mean they're too logical.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying they show their emotions, their desires, and intentions just too obviously and too readily.
Mm-hmm.
So and when you look at the language patterns of the heart, they express ideas of love and kind connection, don't they? And the converse. So also the absence of the opposite would be hate, dislike.
Oh, that they can present all emotions.
Yes.
Right.
Their converse, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if we talk about the gut brain for a moment, that's called the enteric brain, and the highest expression of the gut brain is courage.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah.
At a core level, the gut brain is responsible for deciding what will be absorbed into self and what will be excreted from self or the body to maintain health and wellness in the system. And you'll know all about that from a different
working from the nutrition side.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm very aware of how the brain and the gut talk to each other, going both ways, right? We talk about it in nutrition through the vagus nerve, largely.
Yes. Well, newsflash. In MBIT, this is beyond the realms of these three brains, but MBIT recognizes at least two other brains, and one of them is the vagus nerve.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But as yet, science hasn't identified and mapped it as a brain.
Right. Okay.
But we know, don't we?
Okay. Yeah. And so how do they communicate between each other?
They send messages.
Through chemicals or?
Through the heart, the biochemistry through the heart. That the heart is the main, is the lead.
Okay.
So you probably know this, Joyce, but the research has shown that more than 80% of our immune cells are in the gut.
Oh, yes.
And the enteric brain is intimately involved in managing immune function. So the prime functions of the gut are around protection, self-preservation, core identity, and mobilization. So in humans, it's expressed as motivation, gutsy courage, gut felt desire to take action or not.
Yeah.
So there are common languages, common sayings that people use generally that I'd like to invite you to offer me a few. I'll start you off. I've got a heads up. I've got the heads up here. So because there you go. There's one. I'll give you a couple. I can't get my head around this.
Yeah.
Where's your head?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't really think of things like that on the spot, actually.
That's fine. If you do, okay. I've got use your head. People say that, don't they? Use your head. Yeah. I've got no head for it.
Oh yes. Yeah.
People say that they've got no head for heights, but actually it's their gut that's doing the height thing. And so the head gets the guts messages and the heart racing.
Yeah. So how do we get all of these three aligned?
Well, there's several ways. There's one way I'm going to do with you.
Okay.
Because it's to do with because the heart brain maintains the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, the balance between the two. Because imagine a set of those old-fashioned justice scales or the scales that used to be like that. The sympathetic and parasympathetic are like that, or sometimes like that.
Yeah.
So the idea is to have them as balanced as possible.
Okay, and let's just stop for a second, just in case people don't know that are watching this, that the sympathetic nervous system is your fight, flight, freeze system.
Yeah.
And the parasympathetic is the rest and digest.
Yes.
And they always need to be kind of in balance, because very often we're always stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. And this is really key when you're talking about anxiety and dealing with stress. And
yes, it's overstimulation of because our systems hasn't upgraded since for thousands of years. Our autonomic central nervous system haven't upgraded. We used to go out and kill our dinner, and that would last. It would be fight or flight, and who would win and who would bring home the food.
Yeah.
But now and our systems were prepared for that, where we could actually have a fight or kill. That's terrifying enough. But then once that was over, you could relax, you could cook, eat, you could sleep, you could rest. And didn't eat like that every day of the week.
No.
Once a week, if that. And then
and now we're in a state of constant stress. So we constantly stimulate the sympathetic nervous system. Yes,
mortgages to be paid, rent to be paid, bills to be paid, or else. Deadlines, targets to hit.
Bad diet, crossing the street, so many things.
Yes, listening to the politicians, that kind of thing.
Yeah, pandemic.
Yes, oh yeah. Yeah, so the slightest thing, and because our brains filter for danger to keep us safe. So it's can be quite a challenge to have that balance, because it's easy, especially when you're talking about burnout, people who are on the edge of burnout, and I've worked with thousands of clients who had burnout, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
When their system, their ANS, or autonomic nervous system, is so on, they could be stuck in freeze. they're unable to get the benefits of the nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
there are several ways to balance the nervous system. So I'm going to show you one of them.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
I'm very curious.
Well, it's easy and it's simple. And I thought, well, what is the most simple technique to demonstrate and have you get an experience of it? And I don't know whether you've ever used it or not, but we're going to do it now together, if that's
okay. I'm ready.
And it will help you lower your heart rate,
Mm-hmm.
on your tummy, so that you can think more clearly.
This is going to be fantastic for people with IBS and diarrhea and tension in their gut and anxiety.
And I don't know whether you've used it or not. It's a breathing technique called balanced breathing.
No, I've never heard of it.
Excellent. Well, the research, the people that designed, the founders of MBIT,
mm-hmm.
researched across the globe, and including the Aboriginal people from different cultures, and found there was one particular, whether it was from Japan or Australia or North America, mm-hmm. China, they found one particular method of breathing that everyone was using to balance their systems. So automatically and easily.
Okay.
The way of being in the world. So as you're sitting there, and do this sitting or standing, but not lying down, because it changes the pressure on your heart, and lungs. So you've got excellent posture with your shoulders just balanced above your spine. So if you can keep your mouth closed, that's great. If not, because some people can't because they might have had something with their nose, or it's okay to have your mouth slightly open.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to do is breathe in fully for a count of 6, mm-hmm. without forcing, mm-hmm. Just to your maximum and without holding it. So once you get to your 6, then you're going to breathe out fully for your count of 6.
Okay, so 6 in and 6 out.
Out. So we're going to do this for a couple of minutes. So it's important to make each inhalation and exhalation equal.
Okay.
Sometimes if you take a breath in that's bigger, it can send your ANS high up, send your heart rate higher up. And there's other balance breathing techniques that suggest breathing out for longer, mm-hmm. which is great if you're having a panic attack. Mm-hmm. But if you do that for too long, it can cause you to be depressed. Okay. So let's do this.
The system to be depressed.
We can depress ourselves accidentally.
Okay, let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
Let's calm ourselves.
Let's just have a couple of minutes. I won't say anything.
Okay.
Because if I count, it's my count. I want you to do it for yourself. Is that all right?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So everyone can just follow along with us as we do it, and do it in their own timing, and until just for a couple of minutes, and then you'll let us know when we need to stop.
I will, because the count of 6 also, just before we start, you might have already takes your mind off whatever problem you've got if you keep focusing on a steady count of 6.
Okay, and should we close our eyes or keep them open?
Close your eyes, but you don't have to.
Okay.
People don't like to close their eyes, but I'm going to, if you'd like to do that, that's great.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Let's get a sense of what that's like for you in the body.
Yeah, very calming. Yeah, I really was focused on the counting, and I was actually picturing my brain, heart, and gut together.
Lovely.
And the pathways between them. So, yeah.
Lovely.
It's a very nice exercise. How long do you normally do it for?
Well, I can start getting a really that's calm feeling after about 4 breaths now, because I'm quite well practiced in it. When I first started doing it, it was about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just doing that. It can take you into a meditative
state.
That's right. But that feeling that, and you can do this anywhere. You can do this on the bus, on the tube, on the train.
No one has to know.
On a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Do it when I'm on a walk in the woods.
Yeah.
When I'm preparing for a meeting, I'll just take a moment.
Yeah.
It helps you get centered. It helps calm down that any flutterbys in your tummy.
Yeah.
And allows you to think more clearly.
Yeah, definitely. And, I notice in my normal breathing that the in-breath is always longer than the out-breath. So I think any kind of practice that lengthens the out-breath can be really beneficial. And I even can notice when my heart rate slows down.
Yes.
Just from several breaths.
I still feel mine. We only did that for just over a minute, and I can still notice it. It almost goes down a gear.
Yeah. It's really, really nice exercise to do. So anything that can help people calm down their anxiety and, as you say, align the 3 brains is fantastic.
It's one of the tools that we use in MBIT. There are more. There are different processes that we use. It's a demonstration for this call for the purpose of introducing the concept of them.
No, that's fantastic. I really appreciate you explaining the 3 brains, because I was very, very curious. I only knew about 2 of them, and I talk about them regularly in our Facebook group. But
I think the gut brain was the first one, isn't it? It was the oldest brain.
Yeah, and as you say, that it plays such a strong role, so it's really nice to have talk about it in a different kind of way. Yeah. So Maxine, if people want to get a hold of you, they can reach you through your website, which is MaxineBryce.com, and that's BRYCE.
That's it.
And they can find you on LinkedIn under Maxine Bryce, and on Facebook under Maxine Bryce Coach. And again, that's BRYCE. I will definitely post the links under this video in YouTube. So there's no worries about that. But is there anything else you want to share with everyone?
If you're interested to know more about how MBIT or anything else that I do would help you in any way, please let me know. You can contact me through the email on my website, or you can sign up for a free consultation.
Oh, great. So the consultation, it's a discovery call,
no obligation to sign up for anything.
Yeah.
To get to know you, if you and I think I highly recommend having discovery calls.
How long are they, the discovery calls?
30 minutes. Yeah.
30 minutes. Oh, that's excellent, because it's the same with my work. That it really is a personal relationship that you build with your clients, right?
Absolutely, and you have to be a good fit for each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me, Maxine. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for inviting me, Joyce. I really
Of course.
enjoyed this chat. It's lovely.
Okay, great. Take care.
You too. Bye for now.